Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namamskrita Naram Jeva Narottamam Devyam Saraswatim Visham Tato Jaya Mudiraya Savpraya Sabhatam Timbhagavati Sevaya Udama Shloke. So, Hare Krishna. Heute or today, I will try, ich probiere, in Zweisprache, to speak in two languages, in Zweisprache zu sprechen. Let's see how it goes. So, in Deutsch, ja, we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the 4th canto, the 4. Canto. Hast du die 4. Canto dabei? 4. ja. Ja. So, Kapitel, Canto 4, Kapitel 7, Chapter 7, Text 32, Text 32. Okay, so ich mag es mal Word by Word, aber Kishore-kun, weil es gibt mag Word by Word in Deutsch in deinem Buch, wenn es ist okay. Es ist nur, dass wir verstehen das Wort, okay? So I do it in English and Kishore-kun will follow this in her book, okay? Indra Vacha, King Indra said, Idam, this, Api, certainly, Achyuta, O infallible one, Vishva Bhavanam, for the welfare of the universe. Sorry. Vapu, transcendental form. Ananda Karam, a cause of pleasure. Manaha Drisham, to the mind and the eye. Sura Vidvit, envious of your devotees. Shapanihi, by punishment. Od Ayudai, with uplifted weapons. Puja Dandae, with arms. Upapanam, possessed of. Astibi, with 8. Aha, Mohanasini Radha, would you mind to translate for Kishore-kun? Rosemary, do you feel more better to translate? Is okay? I mean, Mohanasini Radha's German is very good. Or you're tired? So swap places. Then you have to take a front seat, Mohanasini Radha. So, the reason I did word by word, which is sometimes the case, is because the words are a little bit harder, I would say, a little bit harder to pronounce. They were for me. We have 2 other people who are in the Sanskrit course here. Yeah, wir haben 2 andere, das war in the Sanskrit course. So, yesterday was a discussion of how to pronounce this, because don't want to prove it wrong. Luckily, Kanai Krishna Prabhu is busy in Bhakti Shastri, so he doesn't test us. But you'll see on the board, in the lines, you see after the third word, the U, yeah? This thin line is where the pause or the pausa is when we pronounce the verse. Yeah? Basically, it's a very nicely, I suppose, I don't know about the others, but I realized that Sanskrit is quite poetic, and if one understands how to pronounce it, then it works, but it's quite complicated. I think he said there's over 30 different types in the Bhagavad Gita of how one should pronounce it. And usually we hear 2 or 3 variations. So there it was a discussion yesterday with 3 different devotees of how we pronounce this. So I will try my best. Please forgive me. We try. It's like a Mataji class today. I'm a brahmachari in the corner. So, Indra uvacha. The uvacha. Okay. I hope I didn't. Idamapirchata vishvabhavanam. Idamachuta vishvabhavanam. Idamapirchuta vishvabhavanam. Vapurananda karamano Krishna. I got it wrong. No, he gave a different rhythm. Did anyone else listen on the... Do you have the... I'm so terrible if I make it wrong. Can you give me your phone for a second? Because it's exactly at a certain point. I don't want to fail him. Is it okay? Would you like... Is it anything for you, Narayan? Is it wichtig? Oder wir machen das richtig? Or no, here. When he speaks, just give me, because it's right at the end, if you don't mind. No. Not. You just. Here when he pronounces. Yeah. No. No. Okay. Indra uvacha. Okay. Idamachuta vishva. No, I cannot. It's sorry. Okay. Idamapya achuta vishvapavanam vapu ananda karamanodrasham suravidvicha paneudayuta vayadandeu papanamastabihi. Yeah? So it's like rhythm that goes, but I repeated it many times to get it. Of course, he can do it straight away. Kanai Krishna. But if no one's translating for Kishorikun now. Sorry, Rosemary. Take your phone. Oh, close to the board. Okay. Okay. Idamapya achutya vishvapavanam. Apya Juta Vishvabhavanam Vapunanda Karambano Drisham Ananda Karamura Drisham Suravidvacha Panahudayude Suravidvacha Panahudayude Bhuya Nandeu Papanamastabihi Puja Dandeu Papanamastibihi Indra uvacha idamapachuta vishvabhavanam idamapachuta vishvabhavanam vapunanda karamanodrisham vapunanda karamanodrishtam suravidvicha panayudayude suravidvicha panayudayude Puja Nanda Papanamastabihi Puja Nanda Papanamastabihi. Please. Du bist der eigenes Prabhu hier. Möchtest du? Indra uvacha Idapachuta Vishvabhavanam Vapurananda karam manodrisham. Sura vidvicha panayuda yuda. Bhuyananda upapanamastabi. Indra uvacha. Idapya chuta vishwabhavanam. Vapurananda karamano trisham. Shura vidvacha panini uddayade. Bhujananda upapanamastabihi. Indra uvacha. Idam apachuta vishwabhavanam. Vapurananda karammanodrisham. Sura vidvicha pane udayude. Bhujanande upapanamastabihi. Indra uvacha. Idamma piyachuta vishwabhavanam. Vapurananda karammanodrisham. Sura vidvicha pane udayude. Bhujadande upapanamastabi. Indra uvacha. Idamma piyachuta vishwabhavanam. Vapurananda karammanodrisham. Shuravinvicha panayuda yude. Bhujanande upapanamastabihi. Indra uvacha. Idam apyachuta vishwabhavanam. Vapurananda karammanodrisham. Shuravindicha panerunda yude. Bhujanande upapanastabi. Okay, thank you very much. I think we got there, huh? That was nice. This Sanskrit sound is the language of our eternal language, our language of what it is to be back home. So the hardest part, at least for me, when I have to give a class, is first the singing and second to recite the verse. So we try to tackle the verse. When we had such a teacher like Krishna Prabhu, when he sung the verse, one could imagine how this could be spoken in the spiritual world. Otherwise, when it said like an odd way, it was like, oh, how can we speak like this? But it's one sees where every word is a song. Okay, so back to the verse. So we are reading from chapter 7, which is called the sacrifice performed by Daksha. The fourth canto is entitled Creation of the Fourth Order. Okay. King Indra said, "My dear Lord, your transcendental form with 8 hands and weapons in each of them appears for the welfare of the entire universe, and it is very pleasing to the mind and eyes. In such a form, your lordship is always prepared to punish the demons who are envious of your devotees." Just to put this in context, this is where, so we're in the sacrificial place, performed by Daksha. Lord Shiva has come, cut off the head of Daksha, it gets the head of a goat, and then the Lord appears as Vishnu with an 8-armed form. Usually we know him with a 4-armed form. Here he is in an 8-armed form. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, "It is generally understood from revealed scriptures that Lord Vishnu appears with 4 hands, but in this particular sacrificial arena, Lord Vishnu arrived with 8 hands. King Indra said, 'Even though we are accustomed to see your 4-handed Vishnu form, this appearance with 8 hands is as real as the 4-handed form.' As Lord Brahma had said," so this was from yesterday's purport, "to realize the transcendental of the Lord is beyond the power of the senses." In reply to that statement by Brahma, King Indra said that even though the transcendental form of the Lord is not perceivable by the material senses, his activities and his transcendental form can be understood. The Lord's uncommon features, uncommon activities, and uncommon beauty can be perceived even by an ordinary man. What is the word in German for uncommon? It's 3 times there. Uncommon. Ungewöhnlich. Ungewöhnlich. Huh? So, for example, it gives a very nice example here. When Lord Krishna appeared just like a 6 or 7-year-old boy in Vrindavan, so this is roughly in between Charan Murari's age, a little boy who appeared, he was approached by the residents there. There were torrents of rain, and the Lord saved the residents of Vrindavan by lifting Govardhan hill and resting it on the little finger of his left hand for 7 days. This uncommon feature of the Lord should convince even materialistic persons who want to speculate to the limit of their material senses. The activities of the Lord are pleasing to experimental vision also, but impersonalists will not believe in his identity because they study the personality of the Lord by comparing their personality to his. Because men in this material world cannot lift a hill, they do not believe that the Lord can lift one. They accept the statements of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam to be allegorical, and they try to interpret them in their own way. But factually, the Lord lifted the hill in the presence of all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, as cooperated by great acharyas and authors like Vyasadeva and Narada. Everything about the Lord, his activities, pastimes, and uncommon features should be accepted as is. And in this way, even in our present condition, we can understand the Lord. In the instance herein, King Indra confirmed, "Your presence with 8 hands is as good as your presence with 4 hands. There is no doubt about it." I like how Prabhupada ends that. There is no doubt about it. Hare Krishna. Oh, sorry. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Shritam Putale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Tatati Sapandakam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Sati Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we have an interesting verse. Yesterday, it's quite nice how, for me, sometimes when I'm reading the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, when there is a translation and purport, sometimes one loses the flow. a little bit. So oh, you little, I can understand. Welcome, Venurati. I got your name right. I always want to call her Venugita. So just to recap for those who just came in, basically we are now in the sacrificial arena where Daksha was being performed. He had his head chopped off. He has a goat's head now. Yes. But this is all, the inauspicious stuff is vorbei. I mean, is already gone. Vorbei. See, the German pops in. And Vishnu has appeared in the area with 8 arms, not his usual 4 arms. The 8 arms, they are there carrying different things, different elements of protection. Can we name a few, just to see if anyone is with me still? What do we see on Lord Nrsimhadev when he's carrying in his hands? Okay. Conch shell, woohoo! There's this lotus, thank you, Rosemary. Lotus, yes. Chakra, yeah, but this time it says wheel. I don't know if it means it's chakra. Maybe it does mean chakra as wheel, or could be. I can check the Sanskrit 20. But I think it does mean. Somebody will come and say, no, you're wrong. But the chakra, yes, so we have conch shell, wheel, lotus flower, and weapons. Come, boys, are in this area. What weapons does the Lord have? What does he have today? Very large. It's terrible, oh? Sometimes you take darshan deity greeting and you're not really sure what the Lord has on here. There you see he has a massive club. I know that because I asked my Murari what he was going to say. It's a very big club. And in this, that's a normal 4. And there's also the arrow, the bow, shield, and sword. So the Lord appears in this form. In fact, I don't know what Kishori-kun has in the form, but on this version, this is how he appears. So on Lord Garuda's back, he appears. You see very small now. But just imagine for a moment. You're just coming for a yagya. Everything that could go wrong goes wrong. And then suddenly, the Lord really appears in front of you. Effulgent on a giant bird, Garuda, with 8 arms. It's 8 arms. In such a, yesterday there was a line in the verse which made me wonder about my own state in spiritual life. It says in the purport of the previous verse, the Supreme Lord cannot be understood by materialistic persons, even though he is present before them. And I wondered in that moment, like I'm in front of Lord Nrsimhadev. And sometimes I wonder, do I really get it? Have I really got it? Huh? Have I got that the Lord is in front of me? Sometimes I like to think so. But other times I thought, really, wow. Imagine, seriously, if a huge bird comes in front of you with 8 arms flowing effulgence, he's really in front of you. You're not just going to be like, hi, obeisances. You're just going to be like, whoa. Huh? Imagine this sight in front of us. And in that moment, when they tell us many times that the name of the Lord is no different than the form, I also wonder what is lacking in my life. That when I grab my bead bag, I'm not like, whoa, like when I see this, wow, I'm like, all right, okay, it's a bead bag. Gotta get 16 of those rounds done today, you know. No. I want to be with Krishna. No, I want to. Of course, in Bhagavad Gita it said that chanting can be like it's also tapasya. But because there are different states, right, in our perception, I go back to this statement that is often quoted, Kadamba Kanana Maharaj used to quote it, of what Srila Prabhupada said, that in us there is a little bit Hiranyakashipu and a little bit Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah, so we are like, which is good not to get too low or up in one direction, to say, okay, what's going on in the direction of where my thoughts are going. And of the time that I've spent with different devotees, I would say that most of us look at what we haven't done, right? Rather than what we have done. I don't see too many people, look at me, I can do this. Normally it's like, yeah, I didn't chant so good today, or I'm like this. And of course there's some level of humility, but on the other side of it, there is sometimes this element of self-degradation, like a little, let's kick myself, anyway, can't make it. And when I approach things in a different light, for example, Mahatma Prabhu comes next week, and he does a wonderful course on self-care. I did the course already, maybe a slightly different course I did online, which was my tapasya. It was in the middle of the morning. I think it was from 2 till 5 a.m. because it was American timing or something. But it was a good tapasya, because one part of it was understanding, okay, let's look at our lives and how we see the Lord. Sometimes we are so lost in different thoughts of what we can and can't do. Have we missed the point of what we can do? Have we missed the point of the fact that the Lord is very much in front of us and is present? And also, very interestingly, Lord Shiva, if we think about what happens to Lord Shiva here, I mean, he is a very, very high personality, and he was insulted in many different ways. But he says, this is for anyone who wants to have a reference, text 29 of the same chapter. Very appropriate now, huh? With my mind fixed on your lotus feet. Let's fix our minds on the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev. With my mind fixed on your lotus feet, I am no longer disturbed by persons who blaspheme me, claiming that my activities are not purified. I do not mind the accusations, and I excuse them out of compassion, just as you exhibit compassion toward all living entities. It's a nice meditation. One would aspire to be like Lord Shiva in this way. That at one point, that the main words that we fix is, my mind fixed on your lotus feet. And here, this verse, verse 32, gives us a little hope in saying that even materialistic thoughts, we try to have a spiritual identity, but even when other thoughts come in through the Lord's transcendental activities, we can understand him. And so those who don't know me know that it gets a little practical now. Yes, it's always a little interactive in the morning. So basically, it's now the month of Kartik. Yeah, so I always find it's interesting with Damodar, this form of Krishna's Damodar is very naughty. And my boys always behave more naughty. And other children also, I realize, in this evening when we perform this. And each year I try to make the children behave better, and it becomes worse. And then one year it was happening where I was like, stop it just can't go on anymore. And in a moment I thought of Mother Yashoda, where she gets so frustrated to this point that she's like, I'm sorry, I just have to tie you up now. I'm so sorry, I just have to tie you up. But that emotion, not like, la la la, I have nothing better to do, this is your eternal pastimes. No, it's like, okay, you just have to stop it. I can't stop you anymore. This is the whole point where we understand, of course, it goes more developed. And then, in that moment, I thought, I was like, wow, I can really connect. Although, of course, I have, it's not the same with my children, but it's somewhere where we can relate to the Lord. And in these ways where we can find a way to relate, and also a way to fix our mind or our inner concentration on the Lord, we then become closer to him, and at one point we are with him. So I was going to do a different exercise where I put some music on, as sometimes I do. Just for us all, just for a moment, to close your eyes. I'm sorry, I don't have the music. To think of a pastime with Krishna. Any pastime that comes to your mind that brings some joy. Could be of the Gopis, could be of Govardhan, could be here as his form of Lord Vishnu, of Lord Nishingadev, of Vamanadev. And go as deep into the meditation as you can. Imagine that you are a spectator in this Leela that you are imagining. In some books there are very detailed descriptions, for example, of the kunjas that the gopis are in, the different sapphires and diamonds that decorate the flowers that go ahead. Well, you are all yogis. Huh? Oh. Kishore-kun hat eine Frage. Warte mal, ich muss das übersetzen. So Kishore-kun said that she tried, when she had her nieces, she tried to make sure that their thoughts were on Krishna. So there is a game. In German it's called Meine Gedichte. I played this game, I don't like it. But anyway, it's a little bit like Ludo, something like this. And then she said, if you schummelt is if you're cheating, huh? If you're cheating, then Krishna will see, huh? So don't cheat. So so she got the point, I think, huh? Kishore-kun. Nisha. What's this Nisha? Yeah, Nisha got the point there. So Krishna sees what we are doing. Some of you looked, I don't know if you were just looking sleepy and happily, but you looked very peaceful. So would anyone like to share what they thought of what Leela? I look over at Brian, I'm sorry. It's okay? Can you take the microphone because of online viewers? Sometimes I listen online and then suddenly someone is speaking and there is just a gap. You can't hear nothing. That's why it's sort of. We have a second microphone coming. Very nice. Very nice. Please, if you are online, please also think of a nice. Maybe you did that already. The board is prepared. Try to make a memorable experience. Brian, please.
So yeah, what it came immediately in my mind was the Battle of Kurukshetra, and so the Bhagavad Gita.
Battle of Kurukshetra. He looks so peaceful.
Yeah, actually, it was before the Battle of Kurukshetra. Was the Bhagavad Gita, the conversation that was between Arjuna and Krishna.
And was there a certain point in the conversation?
Yeah, I think it was at the end when he finishes the Bhagavad Gita, and then he tell him to ponder on what
all that has been said. Huh?
Yeah, and then to make his choice. But then he was just overflowed by compassion on him, and then he told him the famous verse Sarva Dharma Parityaja, and then before Man Banu Bhava, so 1865, 66. So he told you, because you're very dear to me, I really want to tell you, like, please just always think on me, and just surrender unto me, and I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. So.
So let's imagine for a moment We're in the battle of Kurukshetra. There are a lot of people there. More people than we can imagine. But there is also our dear Lord, Lord Krishna, and his good friend Arjuna speaking. For quite some time, the Bhagavad Gita is not so short. But it's getting hot, it's getting near the end. And at the point where everything has been explained, where Krishna has also displayed his transcendental form, it's all back, it's getting close. And Brian imagines there, as a spectator, Lord Krishna is closing up his speech and says, basically, it's your choice. Do what you would like. But always think of me. So it's a very special moment. This is why you look peaceful. It's not like roaring army going. Very nice. Mohanasini Radha, you looked also very... or not? Too shy? It's only a few of us, don't worry. Did I what? What was the question? Did I tie my boys up? Not for Kartik, but I did try to. I told them I would tie them up because they're naughty. And of course they enjoyed it. They really enjoyed it. I was really first. And the funny thing is, first I tied them up and they enjoyed to get free. And then I don't know, I tried my best to tie them up even better, but they always got free. I didn't link it because it wasn't during Kartik, but they enjoyed the pastime. I cannot explain it better. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's terrible though. What they had fun. So this is what you were meditating on, huh? No. Oh, sorry.
When I was meditating, then it came to my mind how Krishna was steering the battle while Mother Yashoda was running the milk, and then there came these monkeys.
It was the monkeys, huh? This you can imagine too. There is the Mother Yashoda wants to do everything to please Krishna, but actually she also has to feed him, and the pot is flowing over. So she runs for the pot. And Krishna's like, I want milk, or I want this. So he breaks the pot, eats it. The bottle is probably all over him, because he's like a baby. It's all over him. Mother Yashoda comes back. He's like mid-process. There happens to be a monkey, and he's like, "It wasn't me. It was the monkeys. It was their mama, not me. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't steal it." This sort of sweet boy. This one can understand her. This sort of sweet, innocent face when you know they're completely guilty. Exactly, she should do something. We have it as devotees, so you're allowed to steal butter. And Maha, will steal. Very nice. Someone else? Venukita, you have such a, I don't know, you're just smiling. You'll never smile at me again. She'll be like, no, because you'll be like, she'll ask me questions. Don't make eye contact. And then you make eye contact, you can't help it. Yeah, didn't want it to be a blank. Tap it on top, then you'll see. Oh no, then you know it's not on. But it felt like it was on when you were speaking. At least you have a louder. Oh yes.
Yeah, but I thought about this pastime of Krishna in Mathura, And when he meets Vidura, and Vidura invites Krishna to his home because they are, of course, very dear friends, and he is, of course, such a great devotee of Krishna. And so Krishna comes to Vidura's house, and Vidura and his wife are so ecstatic and so blissful and so happy that Krishna, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, their dear friend, also is visiting them. And they're very poor, of course, so they don't have much to offer him. But they do have bananas, and in this like ecstasy of being in the presence of Krishna, they start preparing the bananas to offer it to him. And because they're so happy, they're crying, they have goosebumps, you know, they're feeling all of these ecstatic symptoms, that as they're preparing the bananas, they throw away the bananas and put the peels on the plate. And then they offer Krishna the banana peels, and they don't even realize it. And Krishna just accepts it, and he eats these banana peels like they're the most delicious banana peels in the universes. And I remember hearing this pastime when we did Bhakti Shastri and we were doing Bhagavad Gita in chapter 9, that verse, if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, you know, I will accept it. So it's like if one offers me that with love and devotion, you know, that's what Krishna is looking for, you know, that bhakti. And yeah, so Krishna eats banana peels.
It was nice. So imagine the scene in front of you. I don't know if I saw a picture of this or it was just in my mind's eye, where there is Krishna like in transcendental bliss, and Vidur, his uncle and aunt, they're just in bliss. And so they're staring like at each other. And Krishna is eating this banana peel, and they're just staring at him. So they're looking completely at him. But out of this love, this ecstatic, he does not feel that they are banana peels, and they do not see that they have given him. I mean, it's really like a sort of very high level of ecstatic symptom. Oh, very beautiful. Oh, very nice moment. Thank you. Ladies at the back. De Deutsche Frau. Come. Were you able to think of a pastime? No, Rosemary, they're all wonderful.
I thought of the same pastime when Krishna was tied by Mother Yashoda, and then he went off with the rope, and that both trees fell, and he freed the two. What's their name again?
Mani.
Who were in the tree?
Yeah, the Arjuna trees. Yes. Yes, the two personalities. I can tell you exactly the names. I am terrible with names, but it is
me too.
in our. It's always good if you are forgetful like myself to know where you can find out. The Kuvera, Manigriva, and Nala Kuvera.
Yeah, and it was his mercy to free them after so many years. They had to stay in the trees.
Yeah. So this is what you
saw. This is the first what came into my mind.
Oh wow! The division of the tree being felled, and these two personalities coming out. Wow. Nice. Same lila, but completely different meditation. Very nice. Alicia, did you have something? No, he didn't say. Narayani? Or the Krishorikun? Oh, I think she was thinking of her niece.
I was translating, and then she knew the names anyway. I should have translated before.
I thought about the pastime when Krishna is with the cowherd boys, and the cowherd boys told Krishna like to close his eyes, that they will feed him, and
That they will close his eyes?
that Krishna should close his eyes because they will feed him.
Oh, yes.
And they tell him like to open his mouth, and actually they give him like flowers and leaves.
In his mouth?
Yes.
Oh, naughty boys. Huh? What happens after, you remember? Or was this way?
No, not that much.
So in your mind's eye, how did you imagine it? Like the Krishna's like, and then they stop and he's like, rah! Like,
Yes, and they were like laughing of Krishna. Krishna, I think he was just eating us. It was like normal, and they were
he was
just
eating like it was normal because he can digest it somehow. He didn't make it seem like it was. Yeah, okay, yes, it's like naughty boys, huh? They feed him leaves and, what did you say, leaves and flowers, huh? And I thought just that I just share also with, I was thinking of the point where Radharani and the Gopis are always in search for Krishna. And there's a point where Radharani is looking and she's walking in the forest of Vrindavan, and the trees, which are like bent in three places, make her think of Krishna. And suddenly she sees that the tree is Krishna. It's not, but in her mind's eye it's Krishna. So she breaks out in ecstatic symptoms, is close to like passing out because there is her dear Lord, and her Sakis, her Gopis, make fun of her. Yes, it's like, oh, because it's so in that pastime that she is lost. So this makes me, it's sort of like a funny but ecstatic sort of story, sort of Gopis Radharani. Anybody else want to? Kishori Kund. Who has the microphone? Okay. Es ist an, habe ich gecheckt.
Also, mir fällt gerade ein, das Lila mit der Hummel. Da
Mit der was? Mit
der Hummel.
The hummingbird. Actually, you should have the microphone, Rosemary, so you can translate, if you don't mind.
Krishna hat irgendwann mit den anderen Gopis da ein bisschen rumgeflirtet, und dann war Radharani ein bisschen ärgerlich so, ein bisschen gekränkt, und dann hat sich Krishna als Hummel verwandelt und kam dann zu Radharani und Radharani sagt dann, ja Krishna, ich erkenne dich. Jetzt kommst du wieder an, jetzt willst du dich bei mir einschmeicheln.
Warte, lass sie übersetzen, bevor wir gehen weiter.
The hummingbird, when Krishna was flirting with Gopis,
und dann war Radharani
and Radharani was upset about that.
Und dann verwandelt sich Krishna als Hummel und fliegt wieder zu Radharani.
And Krishna transforms himself into a hummingbird himself and flies back to Radharani.
Und Radharani sagt, ja Krishna, ich erkenne dich schon. Jetzt willst du dich wieder bei mir einschleichen. Als Hummel so.
And Radharani
sofort erkannt, dass das Krishna ist.
She knew immediately it was Krishna, and she said, now you want to flatter me again. I know you.
They're beautiful. It's very nice, because anyone who knows Kishori Kund will know this Leela of her and the bees that follow her in the summertime. Fixing. Can you read that? What does it say? Yes, fixing the mind. So sometimes, let's see if this board will go back. Yes. So sometimes we try very complicated things in the model world of ISKCON and outside to try to fix our mind. I have a diploma in helping to not fix your mind, but to help to get to a good point. At least in person-centered skills, right? But fixing the mind. We're a great example, great audience. Thank you very much. I don't know how it was in the outside viewers, but it just took a moment. Didn't even take any music or nothing for you all to flash back into a pastime of the Lord. And all of you, I imagine, flashed back and into quite deep pastimes. This battle of Kurukshetra, this sort of moment of Krishna stealing butter and the monkey sort of appearing, no, it's not me. Then later, these personalities appearing. This is a very sweet pastime with Krishna and Vidura and his aunt, and what happens. And Krishna and the Gopas as well. So the very nice pastimes that mostly we will find, or many of them, in Krishna book. I actually brought Krishna book. I thought maybe I will have devotees that say, no, I cannot think of anything or nothing particular. But this is a very, very important part of our meditation. King Indra says, he says this about the form of the Lord, that it is very pleasing to the mind and eyes. Was it pleasing to have the meditation? Was nicer? You looked so happy, huh? This is where the mind had to go into that place, because the Lord, at one moment he might appear in this form, but actually it was with the remembrance of the Lord that we could fix our minds on him. And in terms of how we work on a daily basis, this is the point. Sometimes in temple life, even when we're in the temple, our mind flutters into many different directions. Mohana Sinirada will have to think of numbers or banks or logins or random things like this. So this comes up. But maybe one can then meditate on, I wonder how this is operated universally. This is like there is a mathematics behind the whole system of the universe and how it's made up. It is not just by chance. I have an interest in maths myself, and when I was in art school, I did a project which was based on how nature and maths are related. But when we have a higher understanding, we see how Krishna has made that formation. The formation of how petals form on a leaf, for example. Yeah, it's documented to show how actually it's all calculated in the formation, and different flowers have a different level of formation. Just as you see these Sanskrit verses, when we broke them down even a little bit, right, we saw how much there is an art to it all, how much there is something more beyond than just the words that we see on a piece of paper. So for me, an interesting point that in our daily lives, just as the mind wanders off, it's very easy not necessarily to think, okay, now I fix on Krishna, but instead to think then of an activity of the Lord. Flick back into whatever pastime came to your head, meditate a little bit more about it. A little more like, I wonder what they were thinking, Vidura. Did he not see? How could he not see that the Lord was eating banana peel? And how did the Lord not even see? What was this behind this? And the Gopas, cheeky boys, they put this leaves in this, but they're thinking, this is the Lord? No, this is their friend. They have fun with it, and the Lord reciprocates by not being affected even. So in these different ways, it's like our connection on a daily basis with the Lord. What do you think? Do you often meditate on the Battle of Kurukshetra, or did it just come to your mind? You often? Yeah, because of this reading of Bhagavad Gita. It's very interesting actually, on the point, like when someone said, no, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken on a battlefield. And I was just like, how can you speak these words on the battlefield? In a material sense, you're like, you're getting armed up, Kshatriya, like ready for war, but it wasn't. It was really like at that moment where everything could be lost or gained, and nothing. At that moment, Arjuna's at the beginning, right, completely helpless. I think Ajutya Gopi says, when it says that his he drops his arrow and his arm is quivering, our modern equivalent is that he has a panic attack. He is literally like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? How can you tell me that me going out and killing everybody I know is good? It's like a real dilemma in that moment in time. And generally we don't have to face such big dilemmas in our life, but most of us have probably faced this moment as like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my existence? What am I doing with my life? Does it make sense? It could be before we joined, and it also happens during, like, is this right? Am I doing what needs to be done? And sometimes these moments of thinking can just shift us to where we need to go. You know, I mean, like when you have a bit of a crisis, when you have a little bit like what, you know, it's not like, oh God, I'm such a fool after. No, normally it's just pushing one into understanding, okay, what is it that I need to take me to the next steps? Everything can be used in the service, and even if we're far away, if we're stuck in a job or things that we don't want to do, then the meditation, it just takes a moment to bring the Lord back to Krishna. I asked somebody also about the money keeping for the temple. She said, yeah, I just keep thinking I want to take care of the Lakshmi for the Lord. So we take care of that, not for our own joy, but for the Lord's benefit. And if we have hopefully some joy in making sure that everything adds up and aligns, it's also good. You want to say something? Yeah. I don't know where the microphone is at. Rosemary? No, okay.
If I may add to this, actually I was never interested in math.
Never interested in maths. Oh.
For me, this is the accounting and all this stuff is about logic only. That's why I can speak so many languages, because I use logic. And for this work for the Lord, I just also use the logic. And what I do, I mean, this is all miracle that I'm even here. I still can't believe it. Yeah, to serve Lord and devotees. This was my biggest wish, you know. I just didn't know how, but Krishna made it. She here and she did everything. What I wanted to say, like every day when I come here, I just turn on a candle and offer incense to Lakshmi Devi and just ask for giving me blessings that I'm able to serve you properly. And often after breakfast I just come here, play a little bit, and I just start to cry out of affection. Yeah.
Very nice. This is a very nice mood to approach one's service. 3, nice. Ramananda, you would like to add something? It was about the meditation. Did any meditation come to you when you?
I was thinking, because everybody was thinking, okay, something about Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu was young once he came home and said, oh, thank you. He said, Mother, I want to worship Ganga. Bring me flowers and flower garlands and sandalwood pulp. And she said, okay, I will bring you in a second. I bring you in a while. And this made him so angry. He basically went into a fit and slayed everything in the house.
He broke everything?
He broke everything. And then he even beat the ground. And Mother Sachi was so afraid even. And then he calmed down and she said, look what you have done. We have nothing to eat anymore because we broke everything. And then he gave her gold coins and said, go and buy something new. And she was bewildered. Said, where he has these gold coins from? Just something, because he said that Krishna is very naughty in his form as Damodar, and everything. You know, when sometimes we see parents, you know, as parents you have compassion if you see other parents whose child has a fit or has a tantrum.
Tantrum,
right?
yeah.
You know, only parents can understand how this other parents feel in this moment, because everybody's looking and thinking,
What's wrong with your child?
What's wrong with your child? What's wrong with the parents? Whatever, you know.
You can say Lord Chaitanya also had a fit.
Lord Chaitanya had a tantrum. And when he came back from Gaya and went in ecstasy, Mother Sachi was also very, very bewildered, and she asked different people how they can help, and everybody said something different. Oh, he's maybe mad, has some whatever, and some came and said, well, he should apply oil on his head, he probably has a wind disorder. What does it mean? Wind disorder. And then Murari Gupta came and spoke to Mahaprabhu and said, what's wrong with you? And he said, well, some people said I have a wind disorder. And Murari Gupta said, good winds.
Good winds. Yeah.
Because he could see that actually this was ecstatic symptoms what he displayed.
Oh, wow.
What was the point? I mean, why
very nice. It was this fixing the mind on the Lord.
Uh-huh.
That was it. So that was, and then we moved to how we do that on a daily basis with our service. Especially if, for example, Mohana Sinirada has this service of finance and how she relates it. So it's very nice with this offering of incense to Lakshmi Devi and then singing before the Lord, before approach. It's very nice.
There was a bookkeeper before. She was very unhappy in that service, and then she made a sign in the Singer Bureau. I saw the sign yesterday. I remembered it.
I made this some time ago. Yes, I was treasurer for almost 5 years here. That's why I have a lot of sympathy for every treasurer. But maybe there's a difference. I have an interest in numbers, but not so much in this, like logic or this in this way. Huh? It's different. So it's very nice in this way or the other way to somehow think of the Lord is a very beautiful experience. I wish that you can all meditate nicely on the Lord. Remember that all of our endeavors in the next few weeks for Kartik count apparently much, much more than other times of the year. So this is a nice time to keep those pastimes clear in our minds and meditation. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai.